Hello, friends, and welcome to Pod Return to the Waking Sands. We are a Final Fantasy XIV companion podcast where we explore the lore and story of Hydaelyn and beyond. My name is Jen, and I'm joined by my co-host and researcher.
I'm Levi.
Hello, Levi.
Hello, Jen. How are you?
Oh,
tonight.
Full of potato.
Thank you for that very authentic
I really did.
pronunciation.
It was not the plan. It just came out like that. Is that reason? But yes, potato. Potato was had.
Good. Congrats.
Thank you.
Well, Jen, that box checked. We're now on to talking about our episode for the day. We're back to the MSQ, and we are going to be meeting up and getting to know that Emmanellain. What happened last time?
In the MSQ, you mean?
Yes, as is tradition.
Well, last time we accompanied our Toirel, the elder Fortemps child. We accompanied him to Falcon's Nest to do a little, lordly helping outy.
As is the official term.
Sure, we're lords. Give us stuff to do. Eventually we got to the house, right?
There's no eventually. That is the main event.
Sure. I was just trying to remember, how the fuck did we get there? So we're just, wandering around out there, right? Doing stuff. We get ambushed by heretics. Or rather, I do. Oh, no. Okay. We go to Camp River's Meet, the defunct camp with the broken aetheryte or whatever, and we find a knight who was the sole survivor of a band that went out to look for the heretics. They ambushed them. He was the only one who lived. We find that guy, and it was so fresh. It happened so fresh, so freshly ago that there are still footprints in the snow. So I'm going to go follow the footprints. Our Toirel is going to accompany our dude back to Falcon's Nest. So we go follow footprints. We're ambushed by dudes. The sole survivor from that whole thing, because we killed all the rest of them. We chase them down right into their lair, kill everybody down there, have a talk with Lady Iceheart. Midgard Stormer appears. We learn that Lady Iceheart has the Echo. She saw the quote-unquote truth about dragons and man. She's going to continue on her path. We're like, you're killing a bunch of people. She's like, it wasn't supposed to be like that. We go back out, and our Toirel is like, great job. We're done here.
Nice, Jen.
I don't know why I read that so, I was in such a fucking panic.
Because you were waffling, so you had to make up for lost time.
There we go.
In your allotted recap window. But Jen, we did learn after last time that you can indeed kill the fleeing heretic.
And then you're fucked.
And then you're fucked.
Well, I mean, you just got to figure it out then.
Yes. All good, Jen.
All right.
Okay. We resume in Fortemps Manor with Emmanellain formally introducing himself. Well, at least introducing himself. But where are my manners? Emmanellain de Fortemps, second son of Count Edmont de Fortemps, Trueborn, that is. Yes, I know what you're thinking, and you are absolutely right. What ill fortune to be born second in a society where the eldest inherits all. But, Jen, he has a plan to secure his ascendancy. He's going to do such great deeds in the sea of clouds that he wins fame enough to be raised higher than our Toirel. Ambitious, he admits, but then again, I do have a legendary hero to do my bidding. Jen, I had forgotten what a piece of shit Emmanellain is.
See, he's a piece of shit because he's very young and very spoiled. I don't think he is a bad person. I just think he is a spoiled little lordling who has yet to have the come to Jesus moment that Alphino had.
Agree on one of those. I think that Alphino may not be fully come yet, though.
No. It's a process.
He's mid-come.
It does. Jesus. Doesn't happen overnight, though.
That's what she said.
Well, that's it. Let's wrap it up.
Anyway, I agree with you, Jen.
So he's a little piece of shit, but he's not a bad person. He's just got some growing up to do, and he's really immature, and he's really spoiled, and all this stuff. But I don't think he's evil, and he's just I like the kid. Like I said last time, he's just it's going to be some hard lessons for this boy,
Well, they might take a few times to stick.
Probably because
yes.
he's pretty dense.
So our job, at least Emmanellain's job, which we are taking over, is to head to the Sea of Clouds and render aid to House Hyanart. We head off now to the airship landing and the little guy, Honorwa.
Right, his footman, valet,
His
Honorwa, yeah.
manservant.
Boy servant.
Sure.
The size difference between the two cannot be overstated.
Yes.
The age difference between the two is probably 5 years at most.
Well, that's Ellazon's for you.
Yeah. So I mean, this is the thing that kind of this is a continuity issue with Ellazon growth rates. Is that Emmanellain is probably younger than Alize and Alphino are now. I can't imagine that he's in his mid-20s. I can't, because Artoirel is definitely in his mid-20s. Emmanellain, let's say 17, 18 at the oldest. So he is much larger than Alphino and Alize. I mean, Alphino is basically the size of Honorwa, and Honorwa is probably 12? Which is also another issue. It's a different time, right? Different culture, different time. So it bothers me that we don't have the Levieux twins looking like Emmanellain and other late teen Ellazons that we have seen. It just seems strange that they're still so petite. But whatever. That's not a story problem. That's a like I said, it's a continuity problem. Anyway, so Honorwa, I think, is smaller than all of them. Even I don't know why I'm getting so hung up on this. Get your shit together, Square Enix. How tall is Ellazon at 11? How tall are they
Jen,
at 16? How
people
tall are
can
they
be
at
different
1?
heights. It's okay. We all age and grow and cap out at different heights. It's all right.
Oh man, remember the middle school when literally every boy was a foot shorter than every girl?
I did not have this same experience personally.
Yeah, you were probably 6'1" in middle school.
Oh my God. At any rate, Jen, we are taking an airship to the Sea of Clouds alongside Emmanellain and Honorwa.
High into the heavens, where isles of earth and stone floated as clouds, a frontier the knights of Ishgard had scarce begun to explore. To a fledgling outpost within the Sea of Clouds, where careworn scouts ever scanned the skies for winged shadows, he came.
The Sea of Clouds. This is actually a set of floating isles within the Sea of Clouds.
Oh.
Just to clarify.
Okay. Thanks for that.
But anyway, though, this place is a relatively new discovery by the Ishgardians, and they have very recently, in fact, set up camp here. We'll learn more about the history as we get into it, but this whole place is super fresh. Also, apparently it is very cold, but I have some issues with this characterization. Because as we get there, Emmanellain complains that this place is so cold it makes Kurthus seem balmy by comparison.
Yeah.
Nothing about the zone feels that cold. There is running water, lush growth everywhere. It's above the cloud line, yes, but shit still freezes.
Hey, man, it's that humidity, you know? You go to Kurthus, it's snowing all the time. There's a lot of moisture in the air. It's going to feel a little bit warmer. And the Sea of Clouds, this is high desert, right? This is it's still really fucking cold, but it's really fucking dry. And the wind is relentless. I feel the cold. I get it.
Except we have Great Lakes of running, flowing water. Yeah. Anyway, I just feel like this was a bit of...
It's wind chill, man.
The zone's concept doesn't align with this one offline by Emmanellain. Okay. It might be above freezing despite his complaint. Maybe he's just being a whiner.
Just quite cold.
Yes, I mean, it would be cold, but again, I drew issue with the comparison between this and Kurthus being warmer than this, according to our very objective and reputable source, Emmanellain.
Correct. Yeah, so this is great. We're 6 minutes in, and we already have stupid fucking problems with stupid shit.
We arrive here, and we take note, I assume first thing, of the immense airship that is docked at the landing. This looks like a battleship clad in an elaborate brassy metal on the outside and sporting a massive deck. But right now, this ship is useless. This airship, the Protector, this is meant to be like the main defense for the Isles against a Dravanian incursion, but right now it can't defend against shit. More on that also later. We now pick up with our companions. We immediately get some impression of the dynamic between Anara and Emmanellain, as Anara is scolding Emmanellain for having his belt so loose that he'll trip over his own sword.
Yes, Anara is the one with common sense here. So Emmanellain he's all kitted up in his knightly garb, and our contact here is Lady Laniette, and she's the commander of this particular outpost. She is of House Hynart. And he's like, okay, we're going to meet with Lady Laniette, and you just follow my lead, okay? Don't do anything. Just let me do the talking. This is going to go great.
We head into the Isles themselves. This place is very serene, very chill.
So pretty.
Very pretty also.
So when I got my shoe bill tattoo, and I wanted the flower on there, and I also wanted some other like Final Fantasy XIV like flora, this is the area that I used as inspiration for some of the other things. Didn't make it in, but it was still like that. I just wanted to say this was the first place I thought of. I'm like, oh my god, the plants are so cool here.
This zone is gorgeous, but it's my least favorite in this expansion just from the navigation.
Absolute.
As we go further in, it will be a terrible experience getting anywhere in this place.
You're going up like a mile and down a mile, and there's 2 aetherytes, but they're literally like a football field away from one another on the west side. It's bad, guys. That's all. Continue.
Anyway, so we take a nice ride across the zone and we see some wildlife. We got the Gallicats.
Yay!
We got the Pisces.
We should probably figure that out because that is a very beloved Final Fantasy mob.
I agree, but also unlikely to come up in this podcast often because they're mostly set dressing.
Fine.
But you tell me.
Pisces?
Sure, Pisces.
And
we got Pisces.
And then the dodo guys, which are not dodo guys, but they look like colorful dodo guys. All of these dudes, I remember hitting this area, Otis hitting this area, getting the path to Camp Cloudtop, or no, it's like the Rose House, I think it's called. So the path to Rose House is just littered with Gallicats and dodo not dodos and whatever, and they hit real hard, and they're just everywhere. You can't just like follow the path and avoid them. They're everywhere. And
they are also right outside our destination, meaning you're likely to aggro this little cute cat as you're going to go and talk to Lady Laniette. We get to the Rose House. This is essentially like a tree house fort.
It's sweet.
You got some rope bridges.
You have
spanning the trees.
Like a net ramp too that you can actually. This reminds you of like a playground.
These things are so steep. You'd have to literally climb to get to the next platform. This place is not ADA compliant.
Absolutely not. But they have black chocobos, so.
It conceptually, yes. Here, I'm not so sure.
No, there's no ADA in this world. Are you kidding?
At any rate, we now arrive. We're here at the cool tree fort place, and we now meet up with our star, Lady Laniette, who is a male-clad Ellison with shortish red hair.
When you say male, you mean chainmail.
Correct, Jen.
The clad part. Female, yes.
The clad means his clothing.
It hit my ear weird. That's all.
Sorry. I'm sorry for your problems.
Was the term lady confusing for you? Okay.
Anyway, she tells us, Jen, that she has long dreamt of meeting us. As it turns out, way back when we helped with that false inquisitor, the accused was her brother.
Yeah.
But now, Emmanellain butts in. This is a cute dynamic. He's got a little crush on Laniette, but she is entirely over him.
Oh my god. I mean, she's so much older. It's like not even, she's so far out of your league in every possible way, dude, but he really tries so hard. Yeah, so he interjects here as Laniette is. I mean, he doesn't read the room because again he's baby. He totally ruins the moment. So he interjects and he's just laying the pleasantries on real thick. Oh my lady, how resplendent you are in the sunshine. Whatever.
You cut an elegant figure as always, a steel-clad rose, equally at home on a battlefield or in a ballroom.
Okay. So she's like, hey, can you let me finish what I was saying? I was actually having a conversation with the Warrior of Light. Thank you. Anyway, she tells us that Camp Cloudtop was established as a first line of defense due to its elevation and sight lines. Checks out. They also have the Protector, currently out of service. It's our largest and most advanced airship. It's capable of downing all but the mightiest of dragons. It is currently undergoing repairs, and their efforts have been further delayed by skirmishes with the local beast tribe, the Vanu Vanu. And then Emmanellain interjects yet again and says, "No beastman is a match for a man of Ishgard. Bring me a birdman, and I'll show him a thing or two." And Laniette just completely ignores him. So she'd rather not waste time trying to keep the young lord from making a mess out of things, so she devises a plan to give him a task of imaginary importance, keeping a lookout for Dravanian outflyers.
This is when she comes and talks to us in person, and she's like, hey, I understand why Count Edmont wants him to work in the field, but this is going to be more like babysitting.
Yeah.
It's far more likely he'll get himself hurt than it is that he'll actually learn something of use to anyone.
Agreed.
So she now gives us the task of giving him a task to keep watch for
Dravanian outflyers.
I was doing a bit, Jen.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry.
There's a long pause.
Yeah, she's like,
but Jen, is fine. I'll leave your shame in.
That's fair.
Jen interrupting me like an Emmanellain over here.
Right? Gosh, I can't read the room.
She also wants us to tell his manservant to make sure that Emmanellain does not slack off. And we get to it. We can choose how to communicate the task to Emmanellain. We can either ham it up, we can make it really dramatic and important, or go over there and watch for things, I guess.
Oh, I'm hamming it up. I'm on Team Lady Laniette here. She has given you a mission of utmost importance, Sir Emmanellain. The lady tasks you with, whatever. And he's like, aha, yes, of course. Amazing. With me, Anarwa. And he goes and finds a vantage point.
And now we talk to Anarwa directly, and we explain his role in this whole keep Emmanellain business. And he's on board. He's
keep him on task, yes, please.
And also out of the way.
And Anarwa is like, I read you, and Emmanellain is the only one out of the loop here. Bless his heart. So, Lady Laniette, she continues, she feels like she has to maybe explain herself here, because she knows maybe that this is a nuanced situation. We're wards of House Fortemps. We probably feel like very sympathetic towards them. And she understands that we probably see what she's trying to do here. And she's like, okay. So were he of another house, mayhap I would not feel obligated to go to such lengths to preserve his safety and dignity. In any case, I appreciate you speaking to him for me. It would seem he actually listens to you, at least more so than others. Or mayhap you are more skilled at this than most. I suspect you have had to humor your fair share of difficult men before. Girl! Well, let's talk about that when we hit Stormblood.
Jen,
Since when?
Also, I'll have to Moogle that out, of course.
Yes.
But anyway.
Yeah, let's talk about, when we hit So
we now get more background on Camp Cloudtop. And also the Vanu Vanu. So apparently when the Ishgardians first discovered this place, they made cordial introductions to the Vanu Vanu, and things went well, and the Vanu agreed to allow the Ishgardians to construct an outpost here. However, that lasted for a mere 6 months before, for unknown reasons, their attitudes changed, and now the Vanu attack the Ishgardian foraging parties.
Our task is to actually kind of help out with this whole thing.
Our task, Jen, is to talk to Sir Mariel.
Correct. So Lady Laniette is like, talk to Sir Mariel. she's in charge of handling that side of things. So we go to her and she marks some spots on our map.
Sir Mariel is she's short for a Hior, I'm pretty sure. And I have an Elizan character in between me and the scale of this place. This place is Elizan scaled. And there's also an Elizan standing right by her, and she looks so tiny compared to everyone.
5'2".
She can barely see above the guardrail. She's so short.
It's so cute. She's like, little blonde here. So she's like, oh my God, thanks for helping. She marks some spots on our map to patrol. And if we come across any Vanu, we should either kill them or drive them away. Pre-Allied Society attitudes here. So we do that. We find some Vanu. We drive them away.
We do find some Vanu for the first time, Jin, in our existence. We meet a Vanu.
They're fat Ixal, man.
That is rude to everyone. I think it's mostly feather, Jin. If you got them wet, they would like turn into a shriveled...
like an owl. Like if you pull the feathers of an owl up, you see their like skinny ass little legs.
Exactly, yes. I'm sure it's just like that.
So great.
Anyway, they have big puffy feathers and big puffy necks.
Because it's cold.
But not freezing.
But not freezing?
I like this design a lot. Good birds.
Yeah, good birds.
Yeah.
So when we encounter them, they do like it's almost like a haka kind of a dance before they start fighting you. So like right away you get an impression.
And we will learn all about that dance much later, Jin.
Like so many times.
Yes, so many times later. So we done. We kill some.
We go
return
back and we're like,
to
Marielle, we've done the thing.
And now she dishes with us on some local politics. She's like, look, things here are pretty slow. This camp has yet to fulfill its actual purpose once in its lifetime. That is, it has never cited an actual Dravanian intrusion, so it's become now a dead-end post for people who need to be gently retired to go to.
It's pretty rough. You know, I think they've only been around maybe for like a year and a half. Extremely new, but obviously the pressure's on, right?
The pressure is now off. They have failed their expectations, and now they're going to be the senior center for people who are too important. Or
every branch of armed forces needs to have one of these places for people to go. Where it's like, she's like, it's a place where ambition just goes to die. And she's noticing a lax in pretty much everything. Nobody gives any shits anymore. And she would like us, as the Warrior of Light, to go around and psych some of these people up before they fall asleep, you know?
This feels so rude.
It's real. We don't psych them up. We startle the shit out of them.
We yell at them.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Nobody
I put in my
likes
notes, I'm like, it's somewhat effective. Though one of the people we have to go psych up is Emmanellain himself.
We choose to because we cannot read the room, and we're like, hey, he's slacking. Let's get him to get fired up.
Well, because I mean, he's chilling with his back up against like a giant mushroom or something, and he's falling asleep, and we're like, bro, did you forget the importance of your mission? Like, rah. So, but this only encourages Emmanellain to request a quote unquote real mission from Lady Leniette. So he, a mission befitting a manifestation. So off he runs to get a new thing to do.
And Honorwa is so sad. He's like, this was working so well.
No, I was
fucked
like,
it up.
I'm an asshole.
Correct.
So I will take full responsibility for that. Okay. So now we're back in front of Lady Leniette with Emmanellain and Honorwa, and Emmanellain is like, give me something. And she begrudgingly obliges. Oh, I got one. Okay. Because we cannot tap the land for water, because it's a bunch of floating islands, you're not digging wells here, we need to find spring crystals to produce fresh water. So Emmanellain, he is thrilled. Of course, again, you have the option to be like, can you like go find some crystals or whatever? And we're like, the camp will perish without fresh water. Emmanellain, you are our only hope. So I choose that option. And he is thrilled to accept this very important mission. And he makes it a contest. Whoever can find the biggest, juiciest, prettiest spring crystal will be the winner. And off we go.
we head up to a very cool area. This section has big, wide, shallow pools of water.
I love it. It's so pretty.
It is so pretty. It has a smattering of semi-aquatic wildlife. It's got these big, deep green crystals on the outskirts.
Yeah, this is where we are going to find our spring crystal eventually.
This is kind of hard, Jen.
Yes.
There are a lot of false positives out there. And
red herring. I'm like, that's not normally this petty about this. But we do need to find like a really good one. So eventually we find one. And we go back to Anarwa with our kill. And Anarwa says that Emmanellain hasn't returned yet. And he's probably in trouble. Because he's Emmanellain. So we split up, we search around the area, and we can't, there's no sign of this kid. After a while, Anarwa runs up and he's in a panic. And he's shouting, Emmanellain has been abducted by the Vanu. Leave it to this guy.
I know he can be a trifle presumptuous and insensitive and, well, insufferable, but he doesn't deserve this.
Aww.
So Anarwa is going to go on a run for reinforcements, and we are going to go on a solo rescue mission. This is somewhat similar to the Western Highlands instance mission. We get to run free in a whole section of the outdoor zone that is dedicated to the Vanu village. And this does feel like you're intruding. You'd run into a couple scouts at first, then you start to go up against multiple defenders in the village itself. Speaking of, this village has some great aesthetics. Surprise.
It really does.
Their houses are these big ceramic, like pot-like structures.
They look
or
like
eggs.
Giant
Yes.
gourds. Like, yeah. And they're like, they're not suspended, but they're elevated. It's just really cool. And all of like the markings, and they have like totems and everything like decorating the space. And like, this is beautiful. Maybe we're the assholes? Are we the baddies? Anyway, this is no stealthy infiltration. We're just like cutting dudes down as we run
These guys went down for me in 2 to 3 hits.
Yeah.
Which is going to make things awkward in a short while. So we get to the village center and we find Emmanellain the Lofty tied up in the middle of the village.
He's like, get me out of here.
And he cries, by the Fury, you're not going to eat me, are you? We now save him before any such fate befalls him.
Racist and sensitive.
And this angers the Vanu chief, Hanu Vanu, who yells that Netherlings have come to free the prisoner, spread word like thunder, and cast them into the cloud sea.
Yikes.
So we now have to escort Emmanellain back out of the village. We get attacked by a few bands of Vanu in the process, and despite his earlier bravado, whenever enemies appear, Emmanellain freezes up and cowers with his hands over his head.
This isn't surprising. He's a bit of a coward.
No, it is disappointing.
It's sure. I mean, Artuarel would have been like, hoo ha, hoo ha. Though we don't have any proof of that. That is my assumption. But Emmanellain, again, he is a child. He's been very sheltered. He doesn't know anything of the world. So, of course, he would think that he's going to own all this shit when he walks into any room. I mean, he gets targeted by it. It took me a little bit on this mission to realize what the strategy was, because bro would cower in one spot for a really long time. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, run away. And I'm just like fighting off Vanu while he's just like, oh, I can't move. And I'm like, we're all gonna die here, dude. This is my 40th Vanu that I've quote unquote driven away. Eventually, though, we get some fucking backup, and it's Orchifant, and it's awesome.
Yeah, you can see in your peripherals that there are Chocobo Mounted Knights riding in. And now, of course, Big Half-Brother is here. Mm-hmm. How embarrassing for Emmanellain.
Oh, man, he runs in. He steals the show. He takes full control, gets in there. I mean, mad respect for this dude.
But things get worse, Jin.
Anger of Honu, chief of mighty Vondo, roils like blackest storm clouds. Offer netherlings to the white! Cloud sea swells, and he comes!
Chief Hanu Vanu cries out, the white, mighty Bismarck, lord of the mists. And bursting from the clouds is indeed a white whale.
But we're in the sky. Why is there a whale in the sky?
Because, Jen, this is the mighty Bismarck.
Oh.
This is a great moment. They really nail the whale vibes with Bismarck jumping in and out of the clouds and breaching and all that cool shit.
You think I'm up in the sky in dry-ass cold weather. There's no way I could get my thalassophobia triggered up here. But here we are.
Only Jen thought that.
It's really intense, this moment, because Bismarck is huge.
Yes.
And he kind of, you do not expect this at all. It's kind of perfect.
Whale out of nowhere.
So when, if you're a player and you're doing this for the first time and you've forgotten what it's like to be threatened with a primal, this puts the fear kind of back in your soul at this point, which is great.
Yes and no, I would argue. At first, we're like, oh shit, we got a primal here, and we all run away. We move to retreat, but our escape is cut off, and we are forced up to the edge of one of the floating isles by, like, 5 guys.
Yeah, and I mean, we are surrounded. I think we're technically outnumbered, because it's Orchefant and his bros, Emmanellain is useless, and it's us. And we're literally up against a cliff.
You're not wrong, but we tackled.
We are the Warrior of Light.
It's not just the Warrior of Light. It's the fact that we've been beating these guys up in droves up until the second, and now we're like, oh shit, here the backup's here, but now we're more scared.
But Orchefant he's right in the front. He's not backing down. He's like, we're gonna fight, and we're gonna die here if necessary. Like, he's just so good. But when all hope seems lost.
Bloody typical. All right, we're going in.
Aye, Chief.
We get a Sid Ex Machina.
And a Biggs and Wedge. They swoop in on an airship with perfect timing, and they land. They park themselves right up onto the edge of the cliff, and they're like, "Ha-ha, we're here!" Right? The justification for this after the fact actually kind of checks out, but the timing of it is so coincidental. Anyway, it's fine. I really don't have any problems with it.
I understand.
Hot second. I understand. I think they explain it like in a relatively logical way after the fact, but I'm like, really? We should have died here. Anyway, so he swoops in, the platform goes down, the bros jump aboard, and we get all our asses on here. Orchefant stays on the cliff. Sid flies away, and Orchefant, in like the most badass move, like hops onto the stairway or the jetway, whatever you want to call it. That's like 10 feet away from the edge of the cliff, and he stands here until the last moment after everybody else has boarded, and then he jumps on. Like, this is like some James Bond shit. It was great.
As we leave, though, we get a true impression as to the immense size of Bismarck as the airship narrowly evades one of its breaches.
Yeah, this thing is huge.
Yep. Once we are safely away, Sid now explains that he's here because the Holy See requested his aid in repairing the Protector.
Checks out.
And he ran into Honorwa, who was, quote, babbling about his master having been captured and you risking all to rescue him. But now Sid has to get to business, and he leaves us to ours. But Jen, back to the rescue for a hot second here.
Okay.
This was pretty annoying to me. I had not recalled this at all in my...
No, me neither. I was like, oh, really? This is how we're gonna...
It's set up here, and I think that the main fuck-up or the delivery for me was the setup, which is like, again, 5 guys who we have just been trouncing in mass numbers are now, like, getting us all panicked. As the player, I'm like, this is not at all threatening to me.
This is not an emergency.
I don't know. The game has like actively undermined its own threat here, and this is not conveyed well whatsoever in terms of this being something that is actually alarming to us, even though our characters act very much like it's a problem.
I was really worried for everybody else. Okay.
That's why we should get in there and do a few punches, and then we are good to go.
I've got an AoE, man.
Anyway, exactly, right? So That initially, but I think that the second strike was the Sid out of nowhere when I'm like, okay, guys, this is already stretching my plausibility, and now Sid's here suddenly.
Mm-hmm. I wish it could have been something like, Orshafont doing some kind of he calls out like a play, and they do some kind of. We could have handled it.
I'm sure they wanted a great Sid intro for this expansion,
and then we could fly and just narrowly miss Bismarck as he breaches through the clouds, and it's this epic sky-born.
That is cool. Just the setup does not connect to the payoff, and also Sid literally just saved us from Blackbrush Station one patch ago. They're overusing the Daring Enterprise Rescue card just a little bit, IMO. Anyway, it's fine ultimately, but yeah, it was...
I get it.
It did not land for me with the intended emotional beats.
No. It gave Orshafont I said it again, Orshafont. It gave Orshafont an opportunity to be cool.
And then Sid stole it.
They could both be cool.
They can be, but...
I thought they were both cool. I'm
Anyways.
I can't think Orshafont's cool because Sid was cool in this moment, so that cancels you out.
I'm being snarky now. It's fine. Moving on, though. Unfortunately for us, Emmanellain has taken away the wrong lesson from all this business. Very well, he says. I admit it. It was an incredibly harrowing experience. I could very well have died. Me. Dead. On the other hand, by risking life and limb in the line of duty, I did succeed in uncovering the existence of a new primal. And that, old boy, or I assume old girl, is no small feat. He is in his mind the hero of the day, and this will surely impress even Lady Laniette.
Probably not, but you know what? You do what you gotta do, man. You are but a child.
We return to the Rose House, and she is not impressed. He gives her the whole story, and she's like, yes, that was very impressive that the Warrior of Light has rescued you from such a terrifying situation.
Yeah. She's so good at that. Wordsmithing. Yeah. Yeah. So, in the nicest way. Which is great, because the rest of us get it, and Emmanellain won't, and his pride is still intact. So, huzzah, old boy?
It's not over yet, though, old Jin.
Rude.
We return now to the to Fortemps Manor, and Emmanellain is less impressive to his father. In fact, he gets some corporal punishment. We get inside, and Honorwa confides in us that the Count was utterly beside himself.
Oh my god.
'Tis a mercy that you were not here to witness it. We talk to Emmanellain, and he complains, did he have to strike me so hard?
Jesus Christ.
Our budding hero's flame is not yet quenched. He says, Father did not approve of how I handled matters in Camp Cloudtop. How I endangered the lives of others through my own recklessness and incompetence. It's not easy playing the hero, is it?
No, buddy. It sure isn't.
And that's where we stop for the day. Any thoughts, Jen?
I still like the kid.
I like him as a character, not as a person.
I don't want to hang out with him.
Exactly.
But again, he's way too young for us to make any sort of, firm judgments on his character. It's not looking great, I'll admit.
We can both judge him and allow room for growth, Jen.
Yeah, no, he sucks, and Honorwa was totally 100% correct. He is insufferable. But at the same time, as an adult, you're going to encounter some teenagers in your life that absolutely suck ass. But they, like we did, will grow up and realize the errors of our ways.
I do love Honorwa, the unsung hero of this.
Right? Gosh darn. I mean, poor Emmanellain, he's, maybe someday. I don't know if we ever get an arc on him. He just is who he is, I think eventually
that is too spoiler adjacent, Jen.
I can't remember.
I do remember, but I will not spoil it.
All right, thanks.
Take that.
Anywho, So yeah, like I said before, like I did this when I wasn't supposed to, and I got the Bismarck reveal when I wasn't supposed to.
I mean, it's fine ultimately, besides you had budgeted time for one episode that day and you did 2 episodes of work.
Yeah.
So great. And now you had a free week.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Congrats.
Yeah. Gotta fit that Monster Hunter in.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Emmanellain would be a great character to create in Monster Hunter. You know, like as like a, you know what? In a different universe, literally, this is what Emmanellain wishes he were.
Maybe less recognizable, I think.
It would be self-service. I'd be like, I know who I am.
Sure. I've seen a Godbert as well,
I saw
which
Godbert
is pretty
today.
cool. Yes.
They fucking nailed it. They even had like the tattoo on the forehead and everything, the glasses.
Good job, people.
Man, what a great idea.
That super good.
Yep. Yeah, I've seen an Estinian as well. They nailed that too, and he looked fucking awesome. Those are the 2. Some hella crossover.
Yeah, I was having a hard time figuring out what to do. I was sticking around, and I should have thought of like our favorite 14 grades. Could have done a Hildebrand, whatever.
Oh my god!
Like the character generator, though, the characters I was getting out the gate, they all look like, you know, rugged masculine man.
It
The Last of Us, whatever. And I was like,
you forget.
I'm kind of bored by this aesthetic. Did not want to be the tough survivor, weathered features, mottled skin, whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be fresh as a fucking daisy.
So I made my tabletop RPG character instead. I'm chiding myself for having forgotten all of these great characters. Could have tried to aspire to instead.
The amount of customization in this, like I literally spent an hour doing it. You could make whoever you wanted. Anyway, this is a podcast about Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, Monster Hunter cast. So that's it for me today, Jen. Anything else?
No.
Great. Well, next time we are playing through the Blacksmith job quest in Heavensward.
Ooh.
So we will see you then.
And that will do it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for listening. And thank you for not summoning any primals on your way to the parking lot. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can at podreturnffxiv@gmail.com. You can find us also on Blue Sky at podreturnffxiv. You can also check the show notes for our Discord. You can get on there and talk to a bunch of really fabulous people about kind of whatever you want. Memes,
Dreams,
cats, robot cat.
Doesn't rhyme.
No. It's a lyrical cadence, man. It's not about rhyming. Anyway, but that's where you can join us for our group runs and make some group runs of your own. But like, it's just a really fun group of people, and we would love to have you. And last but not least, our Patreon, patreon.com/podreturnffxiv. And for $1 a month, you get access to our other stuff. We have our seasonal episodes from 14 on there, our Final Fantasy XI series, Vanadiel Van Spleener, and some other random crap. But also, thank you so much to our Patreon subscribers. We love you! And with that, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a good day or night, and we will see you next time.